The way we consume and share news today is largely rooted in social media outlets. The reason why I decided it's important to look at what's being discussed online, like expensive cities and expensive plane tickets. Yeah, that's the age we live in. Fun for Social Media Minute. We're joined by Erica. Good morning.
Hi there.
Everything is unaffordable?
Yeah.
Kind of a sub theme.
Yeah.
Honestly, yes, inflation, but in some cases, like some cities being just virtually unaffordable.
Yeah.
It's been the way things have been for as long as I can remember.
That's right. The global mobility company ECA International has released its annual list of the world's most expensive cities to live in. And guess who takes the number one spot? Once again, it's Hong Kong.
Yeah. At the top of the list.
That's right.
And some of our go-tos, like, I don't know, New York City, it might be in the top ranks.
Yeah.
Now, it's an annual list, as you've said.
That's right.
And they base it on several factors to make a conclusion about the most expensive cities in the world. It includes average price of household staples such as milk and cooking oil. Oh, okay. Rent, utilities, public transit, and the strength of the local currency.
That's right. Now, this is the third year in a row that Hong Kong has claimed, I guess, this dubious honor of being the world's priciest city on the ECA index. So, shall we take a look at the list?
Let's do that.
For 2022, number one is Hong Kong. Number two, New York. Number three is Geneva, Switzerland. Number four is London. Number five, Tokyo. Number six, Tel Aviv in Israel. Number seven is Zurich. Number eight is Shanghai. 9 is Guangzhou. And number 10 Seoul.
You know, if you ask Seoul, I'd say it would beg to differ, but it's funny because when you compare it to other cities in the world, you realize that we're not the only unaffordable city in the world.
This list is a little bit surreal to me.
Yeah?
Seoul is up there in the top 10.
I just felt like it was a long time coming.
Yeah.
We're clawing our way up, and now we're in the top 10.
Yeah, I mean, like where are cities like Paris, for example?
That's a really good
Right?
point. Paris is also very expensive, you guys.
Yeah, we're going to talk about Paris in a little bit.
Okay, there you have it. But it looks like it's a lot of Asian cities take
That's
surprise
right.
this year.
Yeah, it's safe to call Asia the most expensive continent with 5 cities, Hong Kong, Tokyo, Shanghai, Guangzhou, and Seoul landing in the top 10. Now, some regulators include the Middle East in Asia, which case Tel Aviv, which is in 6th place, also counts towards Asia's total, which would give it 6 out of a total of 10 spots.
Majority.
Yes, that's a majority. Asia also claims the honor of being home to the fastest rising city on the overall list, and that would be Colombo. I used to live there a long time ago in Sri Lanka.
Was it really unaffordable?
At the time, it was very affordable.
Okay.
Yeah, this was in the 80s. It jumped 23 places from 162 to 149.
Oh, that's a pretty significant jump.
That's right.
Yep.
Yeah.
So let's take a look at which cities ranked lower compared to previous years. Like you said, Paris.
Paris.
Where's Paris?
Yeah, Paris has topped the ECA list in the past. It dropped out of the top 30 this year. Other European cities, major European cities like Madrid, Rome, and Brussels all fell as well.
Interesting.
Now, nearly every major Eurozone city saw a drop in the rankings this year because the euro performed worse in the last 12 months than the dollar and the British pound.
Again, a local currency
That's right.
strength that goes into one of the many factors to defining what the most expensive cities are. External factors like politics, international conflicts, geopolitical issues at hand, they can also play a significant role.
Exactly. So Russia's invasion of Ukraine and, the accompanying sanctions placed by many countries means that Moscow is now in 62nd place and St. Petersburg in the 147th spot.
So what about the Europe's then most expensive city that was at third place? Geneva.
Yeah, Geneva. It's in third place after Hong Kong and New York City. Switzerland, by the way, uses the Swiss franc instead of the euro. Hence one of the reasons why it came out strong this year.
Okay.
Now, ECA International isn't the only company that ranks the world cities based on economic. London-based Economist Intelligence Unit releases its worldwide cost of living index every December. Now, the order of the cities listed on different indexes may be different, but it's very clear for now that Asia, Europe, and North America, cities in those continents are far more expensive to live in compared to their counterparts in South America or Africa.
There you have it.
Yep.
Where am I moving?
You're moving?
No.
Okay, good.
Sometimes I live in Seoul and I think, should I be moving and relocating to somewhere else?
I think about that all the time.
It brings me joy at first.
Yes.
And then you start to dig a little bit deeper and you realize grass is really not necessarily greener in these other cities I want to
There's
visit.
no place like Seoul for me, at
No,
least.
really. I mean, I'm looking at it and it's like a lot of cities I want to relocate to are amongst the top 10 most expensive cities in the world.
Right.
Staying put for the time being. All right, let's turn our attention to something this just doesn't add up for me because we've talked about how plane tickets are so high.
Yep.
Demand is high, so ticket prices are high. There's just not enough routes compared to prior to the pandemic.
Yeah.
But it just doesn't add up because higher prices should equate to, I don't know, better customer service.
Or at least the same customer service that they're used to
exactly.
before the pandemic. So if you've booked flight tickets recently, you know that airfare has more than doubled compared to 2019. Let me give you some examples. A ticket from Incheon to Da Nang in Vietnam, which is a popular destination, cost between 250,000 and 350,000 won 3 years ago. That's between $200 and $270.
Okay.
Now, the same ticket costs currently between 700,000 and 1 million won, which is between $550 and $790.
That's more than double the price.
That's right. Tickets from Incheon to New York jumped from around 1.2 million won, around $950 back in 2019, to a maximum 5 million won, which is close to $4,000.
This is insane.
It is.
Because that just looks unaffordable to me now.
But you know what? People are still traveling.
Yeah. You deprive everyone of 2+ years of the strictest travel restrictions I've seen in my lifetime. That people are now concerned about when will be my next opportunity to leave the country. And so they're willing to drop double, if not more, to make summer vacation worth something this year. Again, now with these steep ticket prices, you'd expect a certain level of customer service.
But passengers have been complaining about what they describe as, for example, insufficient meals on board and amenities. There have been numerous posts and comments on social media by passengers criticizing in-flight services they have personally experienced.
So I've seen posts. I didn't go into details because eventually during the summer I have to take a plane and I don't want to know about it until I get on it. Ignorance is bliss in that sense. However,
You're a very
listeners,
smart woman.
No, I'm not, because now I have to talk about it. What have I avoided exactly? All right, so what are some of the concerns and woes raised by these passengers?
Hot towels have been replaced with cold disposable wipes. There's no fruit on the dinner tray, cold breakfast rolls, no blankets, no extra complimentary beverage. Now, one passenger flying business asked for an extra glass of champagne, but she was met with a no.
Okay.
There are smaller portions of everything, including complimentary items like cheese.
I can't decide if that's just like airlines trying to make up for lost times during the pandemic. Because, maybe beverage, they don't want you to have your mask lowered for the prolonged period.
There's a shortage of everything, it seems.
Is that what this is? Okay. How has the aviation industry responded to criticism? Because this is not the first time I'm hearing about
So
it.
airline companies say that it is inevitable that the supply of in-flight meals are limited, especially on flights departing from foreign destinations because of local quarantine policies, such as border closures due to COVID-19. So there are logistical issues at hand.
You want to talk about a supply chain constraint? There you have
Exactly.
it. There's just not enough champagne to go around.
Yeah.
Cold disposable wipes. I guess that could be a more sanitary thing, don't you think?
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, the global travel industry is only just beginning to pick up, and there have been numerous stories of a nightmare airline companies facing daily due to a shortage in workers. They haven't all returned to work.
No.
In fact, a lot of them left their jobs permanently too.
That's right. Now, things are going to be very uncomfortable for a while. And it's also understandable why customers are complaining because they're being forced to pay so much more.
Yep.
compared to before.
Yeah.
And according to Forbes magazine, customers have higher expectations than ever before when it comes to customer service. 58% of consumers say their customer service expectations are higher compared to a year ago. And 75% of consumers say the pandemic will drive long-term changes in their behavior. You know, customers are fundamentally different post-COVID and
Right.
they expect better value.
I think so, especially if I'm dropping double the money.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that's just, logic. So I guess I can see the most uncomfortable set of conversations happening
Yep.
in flight.
Exactly. And in a bit, companies won't be able to make COVID-19 as an excuse anymore. They will have to come up with creative ways to satisfy their customers.
And secure supplies. Figure it out.
Yep.
All right, on to our last buzzword of the day. Patent Office cracks down on unauthorized use of celebrities' faces and names. It may sound like a no-brainer, but it actually took a pretty long, I think, series of stories
Yes.
and battles to get to this point.
This is the first time the Korea Intellectual Property Office announced that they will make an amendment to the Unfair Competition Prevention and Trade Secret Protection Act. It's in effect since Wednesday. So basically what this all means that any unauthorized use of the faces and names, even the voices of celebrities and just well-known names, including, I don't know, say K-pop supergroup BTS and Son Heung-min, the football star, will be regarded as unfair competition practice and it will result in legal consequences.
So the protection of
Yeah.
publicity rights. It's not the first time we're talking about it, but now that the Protection Act is in effect since this week, there are legal grounds for these companies that represent these superstars
Yes.
or high-profile celebrities to press charges
That's
if they
right.
find that something is unfair.
Exactly. So under this revision, personal marks, including names, portraits, voices, and even signatures that are widely recognizable and have economic value will be protected by law.
Even signatures, huh?
You know, many people think, oh, these are celebrities. They're well-known people.
Yeah.
So they feel like they have access to...
It's public domain.
Yeah, it's public domain, but this is not the case. So we see these celebrities' faces everywhere on social media, especially. So
And it's strategically used and
Yep.
publicized a certain way to generate profit. And so from a company's perspective, I mean, they invest so much, they would expect all the returns to go to the company.
exactly.
There are really extensive, contracts in place to ensure that the money goes to the right people.
Yep.
So I guess better late than never.
Be careful, people.
Be careful
Yep.
what you use. Citing sources is so important. That's my pet peeve.
Yeah.
Why would you not cite a source?
And it's so easy.
Yes.
Yep.
It's so easy. Try using a search engine.
Yep.
Thanks, Erica.
Pleasure.
Have a restful weekend.
You too.
If you're listening to our program using the podcast service, just a reminder that we do go live Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. Korea Standard Time. So tune in and help us make the show more informative by giving us your input. See you bright and early on Good Morning Seoul.